It's only been a few weeks since Cedar Point opened their latest roller coaster, Top Thrill 2, and yes, I know it's currently down for some modifications, but that's beside the point. I want to discuss the next roller coaster that Cedar Point should get, and I already have my eyes set on a new roller coaster model by Mack Rides, called the Stryker Coaster. Also, around the same time as Top Thrill 2, Europa Park unveiled their latest attraction, Voltron. This is their first ever Stryker Coaster, a state-of-the-art attraction that features multiple launches, inversions, airtime moments, great theming, and most important aspect that I'll be discussing in this video, operations. Yes, the most important factor that I've been hearing about Voltron is not only is this ride incredible, but it has fantastic operations to boot. According to a recent video by El Toro Ryan, the coaster has a theoretical capacity of 1,600 riders an hour. To put that into perspective, Velocicoaster of Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, that roller coaster has great capacity, and from what I can gather, it can output around 1,700 guests an hour. So bottom line, Voltron has some serious operations going on. Now, Europa Park has always been known for their incredible operations, so it's no surprise that Voltron would continue this trend. If you ask me, the second most important factor, and well, maybe arguably the most important factor to any new roller coaster at Cedar Point, needs to be the capacity, ride operations. Of course, we want a stellar roller coaster, I think that goes without saying, but with an amusement park that already has an elite top 5 collection, instead of building something that rivals Steel Vengeance or Maverick, they need a roller coaster that can keep up with the demand this park commands. Being a seasonal park, Cedar Point brings in well over 3 million guests in 1 year. It's the second most busiest seasonal amusement park in North America, right behind Canada's Wonderland outside of Toronto. Of every major roller coaster that has been built at Cedar Point, from Maverick to present, only one has consistently held up to its lofty expectations with its capacity, and that's Gatekeeper. This wing coaster from B&M opened in 2013. The website says it has a theoretical capacity of 1,710 riders an hour, which means the ride needs to complete a cycle every 66 seconds or so. When their team is on point, Gatekeeper is able to keep up with this demand, which is why the line for this wing coaster continues to move. Valraven, a dive coaster from B&M, opened in 2016, should have been another people eater, but never lived up to those lofty expectations. Back in 2021, I timed the operations for this attraction, and the best ride cycle I could get was 95 seconds. At that rate, this roller coaster has a maximum ride capacity of 912 guests an hour. This is a downgrade from the other dive coasters like Griffin or SheiKra, especially when SheiKra was operating with its double loading station. Moving along, the next coaster is Steel Vengeance. We all know this ride never lived up to its theoretical capacity of 1,200 riders an hour. Even at its best, I'm doubtful that this ride is able to break 1,000 guests an hour, and it took a few years of tinkering by the park to get it in the shape it is now. The next coaster we have is Wild Mouse, which was never meant to be a high-capacity attraction. The ride is capable of cycling a train about every 30 seconds, which gives this roller coaster a capacity of 480 riders an hour. This is where the problem lies with Cedar Point. Wild Mouse is a family roller coaster, meaning it can service a larger demographic of riders. This new coaster should have been a high-capacity attraction. Instead, we went backwards. Now, I still think Wild Mouse is a fun new addition and will serve more as another filler family attraction in that section of the park, but I think the guests at Cedar Point deserve something a little better, something that can handle the demand. The newest coaster, Top Thrill 2, which currently isn't operating, but that's not going to stop me from talking about its operational capacity. When I was at the park during the preview event, I timed some pretty decent cycles around 90 seconds. I believe the best I saw was close to 80, meaning this ride has a potential capacity somewhere in between 800 to 900 riders an hour. Basically on point with Steel Vengeance, which is better than the original but nowhere near what this ride needs. Cedar Point desperately needs a new roller coaster that can send over 1,500 riders an hour. To that point, I do understand that there are a couple coasters in the park that can keep up with this demand, like Gemini, Magnum XL200, and in some cases Gatekeeper. Two of these roller coasters are fading in popularity, even if they have their dedicated fan base. The fact is, both Gemini and Magnum are well past their prime, and the park needs a new roller coaster, one with great capacity that will lead Cedar Point into the next generation. Please, no more building roller coasters that feel like the only way that you can get on it is if you purchase a Fast Lane Plus or a single skip the line pass, which is basically what Top Thrill 2 is going to turn into. This is a fact for many other roller coasters like Maverick, where the fast lane queue on a busy day will pour out into the midway. I know that some might say that the real problem isn't building new roller coasters with better capacity, but simply eliminating the fast lane, so the regular queue will continue to move more efficiently. I'm not entirely sold that this is the smoking gun per se, because Disney and Universal are able to function well with their high-capacity attractions and still utilize a fast lane system. Bottom line, you need rides that can keep up with the capacity, which is why my eyes instantly go to Voltron. This is the coaster that Cedar Point fans should be begging for. Sure, I'd love to get an extreme spinner model. That would be amazing, but only if Mack can bring the same ingenuity that they have with their Stryker model to keep those lines moving. Heck, I would be happy if any theme park here in North America would get a Stryker Coaster from Mack Rides. Canada's Wonderland is the busiest seasonal park, so maybe that new rumored launch coaster will turn out to be one of these. Who knows, I can dream anyways. Well, until next time, this is Extreme Thrills.